My name is Nina Frang Heyum. I'm Director of Exhibition at the Nobel Peace Center, and this event tonight is part of our series Nobel Peace Talk, a series of events related to the Nobel Peace Prize 2021 to Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov. A prize that highlighted the importance of freedom of the press for democracy and peace, and a prize that has sadly become more and more relevant during the last weeks. And as the world has been changing around us, so has the program for this series. The title for today's event is The Russian War on Media, and we are so grateful to be able to welcome three brave journalists here today, Anna Kireeva, Yegor Skovoroda, and Marfa Smirnova. Your visit is very special to us, as you all face the same challenges as the Nobel Peace Prize laureate Dmitry Muratov. In December, he was here on this stage and opened the exhibition about himself. The room was filled with joy and celebration. Earlier this week, Muratov announced that he was suspending all online and print publications of his paper Novaya Gazeta until the end of the so-called special operations on Ukraine territory. The new media laws and the current situation for the press in Russia creates a gloomy backdrop for today's event. I would like to thank our partners for this event, the Norwegian Helsinki Committee, PEN Norway, and the Norwegian Union of Journalists. And I would also like to thank our sponsors, Fritt Ord, Luminate, Reitan, and Hydro. And before I introduce the moderator for this evening, I would like you to, for safety reasons, do not record videos of tonight's event or publish such films. So I'm honored to introduce our moderator for the Nobel Peace Talk tonight, Amund Trellevik, a Norwegian journalist with almost 20 years of experience. He has worked with and in Russia for 10 years and is chairman of Barents Press, Norway. Thank you, Amund, for coming here tonight. So I'm leaving the floor to you, and we are very much looking forward to this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, good evening, friends. Dobry večer, Russia. Just hours after the Russian missiles were fired at Ukrainian cities and targets on the night of February 24th this year, and Russian tanks started rolling into Ukrainian land, the Russian regime also started its fight against independent and critical voices at home. So, while President Putin is waging his devastating war against Ukraine, and we are seeing images of destroyed cities, Mariupol, and civilians are fleeing, there is also war going on in Russia. So, as of today, more than 15,000 people have been arrested just for demonstrating for peace. Newspapers and media houses are being closed, as we are going to hear more about later tonight. Strict censorship have been introduced. It is not allowed to call the war in Ukraine a war, but those who dare to do just that risk up to 15 years in prison. So today, in this amazing Nobel Peace Prize Center, under the eye of Dmitry Muratov from the wall here, we are going to meet some of the bravest voices in Russia, people who work with free speech in a country where freedom of speech is, for all practical reasons, banned. Then I would like to introduce Yegor Skovoroda. You is a journalist and editor at MediaZona, a Russian media outlet that covers law and justice system in Russia. So you have plenty to do these days.
Yeah, human rights.
Human rights, yeah. You was labeled as foreign agent by the Russian government lately, and you're also closed.
No,
banned. Banned, but you're working.
Our site is banned, but we keep working, so we are alive.
Okay. And your kind of interest in journalism is torture, political repression, neo-Nazism, and radical political movements.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Please give us an introduction.
Sorry,
of your work.
I will read my speech because my English is not so good, but okay. In recent years, I've gotten to use the question, is it hard to be a journalist in Russia? And I'm used to answer that it was complicated, but still possible. We did have unreasonable laws that interfered with journalists' work. We had criminal cases against journalists, like one against Ivan Safronov. This journalist is about to get 20 years in jail for a fabricated case of treason. There were physical attacks on journalists. I expected one myself in Chechnya a few years ago. There were even murders. One of examples is Anna Politkovskaya. But considering all of this, we still managed to do our job. Moreover, we played a huge role in the transformation of our society, I think. And this my optimistic view changed after Alexei Navalny returned to Russia after his poisoning and was imprisoned. Huge rallies in support of Navalny took place, but a lot of people were detained. The authorities started to persecute journalists too. Individuals and entire editorial offices were included in the list of so-called foreign agents, and some new criminal cases against journalists appeared. Some editor offices were stigmatized as undesirable organizations. This status means that anyone collaborating with this media can be threatened with a criminal case. One of the humiliating requirements of this foreign agent law is that people should mark all their posts on social networks with a caps lock message. This post was written by a foreign agent. Even if I simply post my photo of my dog on my Instagram. President Putin called the situation comical. After this, there was much more fear in society. People were afraid to talk to press. Our sources stopped us sharing documents or information with us. Fellow journalists leaned more and more towards self-censorship. Political activists and journalists became the enemy number one for the state. And now I can see how all those laws were in fact the preparation for the war in Ukraine. A couple of months ago, one of my friends, he was supposed to work on the Russian pavilion at the Venice Biennale, asked me to write a text about Russia. And I used a metaphor of black garbage bag, which is often used for tortures by the police or FSB in Russia. I've heard many stories about how during the interrogations, police workers put a black garbage bag on a person's head, and then they pinch it at the throat, and the person will suffocate. I wrote a lot about such cases of tortures, and it doesn't surprise me that the government that makes something so awful into something mundane can also start this senseless war. So today, after the start of the war, this garbage bag turned into a bag for corpses. And the authorities, I think, are trying to pack entire of my country into this black bag for corpses. That's how I feel it. Today, there are no independent media outlets in Russia. Our job became impossible if you are physically in Russia. We can't even use the word war. We must call it a special operation. Almost all websites are blocked on Russian internet. Hundreds of journalists have emigrated. Those who remain in the country have gone silent. Everyone is under the threat of criminal cases for publications about the war that run counter to the official point of view. Some editorial office took the path of self-censorship, began to cut out some passages from the text and called this war a special operation or use elusive words. But in the end, it didn't save anyone. The largest and the oldest media, such as Echo Moskvy, Dozhd, or Novaya Gazeta, are gone in an instant. I have points of views, optimistic and pessimistic, of the future of journalism in Russia. In the optimistic one, we will restructure our work. We will take editorial offices abroad. We will find ways of bypass blocking, figure out how to finance our work, and keep on working. We will travel to Russia as to a high-risk zone and ensure the safety of people who work on the ground. It will be difficult, but I'm sure it's possible. In the pessimistic scenario, the authorities will persecute our readers. As for today, people can be fined for links to the websites of undesirable organizations. But if you look at Belarus, where the entire media are recognized as extremist formations, and readers are threatened with criminal cases simply for subscribing to their social networks. And we know we can expect the same in Russia. It's like to back into USSR, where one could end up in prison for simply having a forbidden book on a bookshelf. And I don't know how journalism can survive if not just writing, but reading the articles is dangerous. So I think we have dark and difficult times ahead, but I believe that journalism can be killed and Russia will be a free country. I hope.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, like this.
Thank you so
for
much.
my purpose.
Okay, please have a seat.
Okay.
Then I will introduce the last speaker, but not least, Marfa Smirnova. Please come on stage.
Hello.
Okay. So you're also a journalist. You work for used to work for TV
I will
Dost.
tell you. No, yes.
TV Dost, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a bit nervous because
Please don't be.
no. I'm a TV journalist, so I'm used to a lot of people watching me, but it's always behind the
Just imagine
screen,
they're all
behind the
cameras.
screen. Yes, not
There's
like this.
Many
no.
cameras here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So my name is Marfa. I'm a journalist. I used to work for TV Rain, TV Dost, but it was closed, as you probably know. Now I'm working for Insider. Now I'm doing 3 evening shows a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just had my last one yesterday. Of course, now we're mostly talking about this terrible war. And I want to say I'm not only a journalist, I'm also a mother. And yesterday I started my evening program with the story of the raped woman. Maybe you read the interview for the British magazine, The Times. The woman was raped just near the Kiev. Her husband was killed and her little son was crying all the time, and the 2 Russian soldiers threatened to kill him as well. And I don't really remember how old is he, maybe 5 years old, and my son is actually also 5 years old. So I think it's very, very scary what's going now with Ukrainian women. And sorry. Every program I'm also starting with the numbers of killed children. Now it's almost 150 children killed in Ukraine in this war. In Mariupol, it's not confirmed yet, but it might be 200 children were killed only in this little town, this city. And every day I can't stop thinking about their mothers, because as I told you, I'm a mother myself. As the war started, I was actually on holiday because my children had the school holidays. And I went to Georgia. It was like 20th of February. On 24th of February started the war, and I decided that as a journalist I want to go to Ukraine. I contacted my editor-in-chief. We tried to organize it somehow, and in 2 days I managed to be in Ukraine. And I crossed the border actually with Ukrainian men. They worked in Poland, but they were like so angry and they wanted to go back to Ukraine just to take the weapon and kill. And it was actually pretty scary to go with them to Ukraine because I'm a Russian woman. My surname is Smirnova. It's a very Russian surname. And what helped me, they all thought that I'm totally crazy because I'm a woman, I'm a Russian, and I'm alone traveling to Ukraine. So it really helped me. I was, but every time actually, also when I got there in Ukraine, I was scared when people were asking me where you're from, because I know that my country, Russia, started the war. I spent in Lviv almost a week. I slept on the floor in a school. I was detained. They bound my eyes. They did everything, but actually it wasn't that scary as the tears and yes, the tears and suffering of the women and their children, of the refugees who tried to get to the Poland from Ukraine, I was working there, as I told you, I was working there for almost a week. But at one night I got a call from my editor-in-chief and my colleagues. We had a Zoom meeting and they all decided to leave the country. Dost wasn't, we were still working, but our website was closed and most of my colleagues decided to leave. My ex-husband called me and told me that he will take my children and cross the border with the Latvia. And I realized that I have to leave Ukraine too, just to meet my children somewhere. And we decided to go to Georgia, where I actually live now. And actually, the way back, it was the most tough time in my life because we traveled back 19 hours with all these refugees. We were traveling by train from Lviv to Poland, and usually it takes 1 hour, and we were like going 19 with 20 hours because there were just thousands of refugees. In the train, we didn't have enough place to sit for all the people. Some of them were staying all these hours. We couldn't drink water, for example, because it was impossible to get to the toilet. There were so much people. And a volunteer offered me a piece of bread. They were offering food for all the refugees. And at that moment, I thought, am I actually allowed to take this piece of bread? I'm a Russian. I'm from that country that started this war. And I still can't answer this question. I still can't really understand if all the Russians are, how we told it, how we said, it doesn't matter. So, but I realized that my country started this war, my country killed these children. Last week, my colleague, Oksana Baulina, was killed in Kyiv. I have a message from her, I guess the last one. Actually, it was just an hour before she was killed. She was writing me about her plans, and yes, we were deciding on what she's going to do for our program on Friday. you maybe know about the Russian media, official media, that they are lying. I can say that they are lying. They are not calling the war war. They are telling that it's special operation. And I think I have to do my work. And now it's important as never before. It's important to tell about the war in Russian language. It's very important now, I think. And I think it's important to tell about the war, the truth for these Russian people who are supporting this war. Actually, I have a relative in my family, and she's supporting the war. She thinks it's okay that so much people are killed. I don't think the raped woman or all these mothers of the children who were killed will. I think they will hate Russians for years, and I'm very sorry about it. But I think it's fine. It's fine like this. But I think it's. I don't think they will forgive us. I understand them, but I want to have a chance to prove them that Russian journalists can do a good deal, and I want to have a chance to do my work now, unfortunately outside Russia, because I can't come back, also because I was in Ukraine and I was working there. But as all these refugees with whom I spent a week, I want to come back, I want to go home, I want to work in Moscow, I want to work in Russia, and I guess we all deserve, Russians and Ukrainian, we all deserve our homes back.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and Agnete Haaland from PEN. It can't end there, obviously. We are all to blame. As it's been said, Putin has been in power for a long time, and we have put up with a lot and accepted a lot. So they are more to blame. But I think I will start this again. Just a few weeks ago, just before the war started, we showed the film "Fuck This Job" about TV Rain, Dorst, at the documentary film festival here in Oslo. And while that film was screening, Dorst was taken off air. That should have given us a warning, not only about the press freedom in Russia, but why it was taken off air now. And I think we have the answer now. I think more than anything, Maria Ressa was one of those who spoke about fake news and the damage fake news does to us. And I think what we've seen in the last few weeks is just taking it to a completely new level, because we have now a completely different, we just have a parallel world created via media in Russia. And I think the three presenters we've had here today, more than anything, showed how important it is to keep the little that there is left to access the population of Russia, to counter that narrative. And luckily, it is possible, although extremely difficult, because there's VPN, you can access information. We need to make VPN free for all Russians. That should be a slogan for all of us. Free VPNs to all Russians. Can we all repeat that? That should be done, because that's the only way Russians can access information. It's not your fault, because you have actually tried. You are among the ones who have tried. So we just need to support you, and we should support you now. And we will. You need financial support, practical support, and that's a responsibility we have.
Thank you. I just want, on behalf of Norwegian PEN, to thank you all for coming, everybody in the audience, and especially our guests of honor. And I know, Anna, you live so close to Norway, and you have to go to Istanbul to get to Norway. You could not anymore cross the border to visit your friends as you used to, and we are all so sorry about that. And we will support you all we can to make sure, hopefully, that one day you can take your bike and go to your friends in Norway and go back again and not go to Istanbul to come to Norway. And to all of you, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much on behalf of the Norwegian PEN, to the Helsinki Committee, the Nobel Peace Center, and the Norwegian Journalists Association for this cooperation of bringing you all here. We will keep on working together, and we stand by you, and I'm very happy that you are from Russia, and we stand by Russians as well. So thank you for coming.